Did you know that 85% of creative ideas come from the most unexpected places? That's right. Research shows that some of the world's most brilliant innovations didn't come from a lightbulb moment in a lab, but from everyday experiences. For example, the Post-it note was invented by accident when a 3M scientist was trying to create a super strong adhesive, but instead, he created something that would change office supplies forever. Here's the kicker. It's not about having complex thoughts or waiting for inspiration to strike. The truth is, simple ideas often hold the most power. But how do you tap into that hidden potential? In this video, we'll show you exactly how to unleash creativity in your work using simple, easy strategies that anyone can apply. We'll explore how limiting yourself can boost your creativity, why imperfections can be your secret weapon, and how slowing down might just lead to your biggest breakthroughs. Ready to unlock the creative power you've been overlooking? Let's dive in. Chapter 1. The art of uncomplicating creativity. We often think creativity needs to be complex, but that's not the case. In fact, some of the most iconic creative ideas were simple. Take Apple's first iPhone, for instance. It wasn't the first phone on the market, but it completely changed the game by simplifying the experience. Steve Jobs didn't try to add more features, he focused on making it easier for people to use. Simplicity can give you clarity. It can help you find what truly matters in your creative work. If you keep things simple, you allow space for ideas to grow. A study by the University of California found that the human brain works best when it isn't overloaded with choices. When you reduce complexity, you free up mental energy to think creatively. This is the principle of cognitive ease. When things are easy to understand, your brain is more likely to come up with new ideas. So, next time you're struggling with a creative block, ask yourself, how can I make this simpler? Sometimes, simple ideas are the ones we overlook. You don't need to create something entirely new, just finding a new twist on an old idea can be just as powerful. When in doubt, think about how you can simplify your work, not complicate it. Chapter 2. The magic of everyday inspiration. You don't need to go far to find inspiration. It's all around you, hiding in plain sight. In fact, one of the easiest ways to boost your creativity is by paying attention to the small, everyday moments. In her book Big Magic, Elizabeth Gilbert talks about how creative ideas can strike at any time. She suggests keeping a notebook handy for when inspiration appears unexpectedly. You might be surprised by the ideas that come from your morning walk or a conversation with a friend. In 2014, a study published in Psychological Science found that exposure to nature can improve your creative thinking. Just taking a walk outside can help your brain relax and think more freely. You don't need to go on a grand adventure to spark creativity, just look around you. The famous author Neil Gaiman once said, "You can't be afraid of new ideas." This couldn't be truer. If you look at the world around you with curiosity, you'll find creativity in the most ordinary places. The trick is learning how to notice these moments and use them in your work. One simple exercise is to pick an everyday object, a coffee cup, a tree, a street sign, and challenge yourself to come up with 10 creative ideas related to it. The possibilities are endless, and this practice helps train your brain to see creativity where others might not. If you're finding this helpful so far, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more tips on unlocking your creative potential. Chapter 3. The minimalist mindset for maximum creativity. Minimalism isn't just a design trend, it's a mindset. When you strip away the unnecessary, you make room for the essential. This is especially true in creative work. The less clutter there is in your surroundings, the more focused your mind becomes. Studies show that having fewer distractions leads to better creative output. In fact, a 2011 study in the Journal of Environmental Psychology found that people who worked in clutter-free spaces performed better on creative tasks. Think about it. The more things you try to juggle at once, the less mental space you have for innovative ideas. The key is to simplify your environment and focus on what matters. Whether it's a clean desk or a pared-down to-do list, eliminating distractions helps you think clearly and creatively. In his book Essentialism, Greg McKeown talks about the importance of saying no in order to say yes to what really matters. By focusing on fewer projects and doing them well, you unlock more creative potential. You don't need to do everything. In fact, focusing on one thing at a time often leads to better results. One surprising benefit of minimalism in creativity is that it forces you to be resourceful. When you have fewer tools or materials to work with, you get more creative in how you use them. In a way, limitations can spark innovation. Take, for example, the work of famous artist Pablo Picasso. He created masterpieces with a limited color palette and basic shapes. The constraints didn't stifle his creativity, they made it thrive. So, next time you feel overwhelmed, remember that working with less might actually help you achieve more. If you're finding these ideas valuable, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on the next part of the series. Chapter 4. Tapping into the power of constraints. It might sound counterintuitive, but sometimes limitations can actually help you be more creative. Constraints push you to think outside the box and come up with innovative solutions. Think about it. When you're given unlimited freedom, it's easy to get overwhelmed by the endless possibilities. But when you set clear boundaries, your brain gets to work finding ways to make the most of what's available. This principle is called creative restriction. In fact, studies have shown that constraints often lead to better results. A 2013 study by the University of Toronto found that creative constraints, such as limited time or resources, actually boost creative output. The researchers discovered that people with strict limitations produced more original ideas compared to those who had more freedom. One famous example of this is the creation of the original Star Wars movie. George Lucas had a tight budget and limited special effects technology, but these constraints forced him to think creatively about how to tell the story. The result was a cinematic masterpiece that changed the industry forever. Sometimes, limitations help focus your energy on the essential aspects of the project. Instead of trying to do everything, you can focus on doing one thing really well. This focused approach leads to stronger and more meaningful results. In the world of design, minimalist designers often work with tight restrictions on color, shapes, or materials, and yet produce powerful, innovative work. These constraints sharpen their creative vision and prevent them from overcomplicating their designs. So, the next time you feel like you don't have enough to work with, try embracing the limitations. You might be surprised at the new creative paths they open up for you. Chapter 5. Embracing the beauty of imperfection. Perfectionism can kill creativity. We often think that to create something great, everything needs to be flawless. But, in reality, it's often the flaws and imperfections that make a creative piece unique and powerful. When we allow ourselves to embrace imperfection, we unlock new possibilities. Take the example of Vincent van Gogh. His paintings, with their thick, expressive brushstrokes, were far from perfect, yet they're some of the most beloved works of art in history. Van Gogh didn't strive for technical perfection. Instead, he focused on expressing emotion and capturing the beauty in imperfections. A study from the University of Chicago showed that embracing imperfections can actually make people more creative. The research found that when people were encouraged to make mistakes, they were more likely to come up with innovative solutions to problems. This is because mistakes force you to think differently and challenge your assumptions. The beauty of imperfection isn't just about being messy, it's about allowing your work to evolve naturally. In his book The War of Art, Stephen Pressfield talks about how perfectionism often prevents people from finishing projects. The key is to keep going, even if you feel like it's not perfect. Getting something down on paper is far better than waiting for the perfect idea. The Japanese art of kintsugi offers another great lesson on embracing imperfection. Kintsugi is the practice of repairing broken pottery with gold, highlighting the cracks rather than hiding them. This ancient art form teaches us that flaws can make something even more beautiful and valuable. Chapter 6. The power of slow thinking. In our fast-paced world, we're constantly told to work faster, think quicker, and produce results immediately. But when it comes to creativity, slow thinking might actually be the key to success. It's tempting to rush through ideas, but giving yourself time to let ideas percolate often leads to better, more innovative outcomes. A study by the University of California found that taking breaks or giving yourself time to relax actually enhances creative thinking. When you step away from a problem, your brain continues to work on it subconsciously. This process, known as incubation, allows new connections to form and helps you come up with fresh ideas. Slow thinking doesn't mean procrastination. It means giving yourself permission to take your time and letting ideas develop naturally. The famous writer J.K. Rowling spent years planning the Harry Potter series before writing the first book. She allowed her ideas to grow and evolve, and this deliberate pace contributed to the depth of the story. Sometimes, the best ideas come when you stop trying so hard. In The Creative Habit, Twyla Tharp talks about the importance of routine and allowing your mind time to wander. She emphasizes that creativity isn't about forcing ideas out, it's about giving yourself space to think. If you feel pressured to produce instantly, try slowing down. Take a walk, meditate, or simply sit quietly with your thoughts. Often, the best ideas come when you least expect them. The famous inventor Nikola Tesla was known for his slow, methodical thinking process. He often let his ideas marinate for weeks or months before acting on them. This patient approach led him to create some of the most revolutionary inventions in history. By embracing constraints, allowing imperfection, and practicing slow thinking, you can unlock the hidden power of simple ideas in your creative work. These strategies might seem counterintuitive, but they've been proven to help foster creativity. The next time you face a creative challenge, remember, sometimes, less is more, flaws are beautiful, and taking your time can lead to your best ideas. Don't forget to subscribe for more tips on sparking your creativity.